We're about to pull back the curtain on the 15 perfectly legal traps Las Vegas has set to empty your pockets, often leaving you clueless until the damage is already done. We're talking about everything from those sneaky hotel fees lurking behind a great deal on a room, to surprise charges on your dinner bill, loyalty programs that feel more like a betrayal, and the clever mind games designed to make sure you never stop swiping your card. So here it is, the ultimate countdown of Sin City's most shocking, yet completely legal, hustles. Now, some of these fees might just feel like a tiny pinch, but others? They'll have you reeling when you see that final bill. So which one is the absolute worst? Let's kick off our countdown with a fee that actually penalizes you for wanting to talk to a human being. Coming in at number 15, get this, MGM Resorts will now slap you with a $15 charge per night simply for the crime of booking your room over the phone. They call it the ICE contact center fee, and it targets anyone who dares to speak with an actual person instead of clicking through their website. And don't think it's just a one-off fee, oh no, it piles up for every single night you're there. MGM introduced this little gem back in April of 2025, saying it was to cover labor costs and encourage guests to book online. Ever since this fee went live, the number of people booking by phone has plummeted by 22%. But here's the kicker. Guest satisfaction on those calls has nosedived from a solid 80% all the way down to 53%. So if you want to sidestep this particular penalty, you'll have to use their website, even if it makes you long for the good old days when customer service didn't come with a price tag. Moving on to number 14, we have the loyalty programs from Caesars and MGM, the ones that dangle the promise of free rooms and all sorts of exclusive perks. But, as always, the devil is in the details, and the fine print tells a very different tale. It turns out, unless you manage to climb to their mid-tier status, which usually means dropping hundreds of dollars a day on slots or at the tables, those so-called comped rooms are anything but. They still slam you with mandatory resort fees. At Caesars, for instance, you have to be diamond level or higher to get those fees waived. And over at MGM, they don't even think about it unless you've reached Pearl status or better. You just have to look at the travel forums, which are filled with stories from guests who were completely blindsided by these charges after thinking they had a free stay lined up. Imagine their surprise when they find a $50 nightly fee tacked onto their bill. That thrill you get from earning a comped room vanishes pretty quickly when you realize the whole system is built to squeeze every last penny out of everyone except the absolute highest rollers. Alright, at number 13, we have to talk about the ATMs, specifically Caesars Palace, which hits you with one of the most brutal withdrawal fees in all of Vegas. We're talking up to $11.99 for a single transaction. And remember, that's just the casino's fee, before your own bank even gets its piece of the action. So pull out cash just twice, and you've already lost over $24. And that's not even counting what your own bank is going to charge you. Back in 2025, guests were posting their receipts online, showing that insane $11.99 fee at Caesars, the highest anyone had recorded on the entire strip. It's basically a tax on convenience, and it's 100% legal. But man, does it add up fast, especially if you find yourself needing to grab cash more than once on your trip. And in a town like Vegas, where so much still runs on cash, from tips to table games and even some bars, these fees are just silently bleeding your wallet dry, one withdrawal at a time. So a word to the wise, if you want to hang on to your winnings, plan ahead and find your own bank's ATM. Now for number 12 on our list, parking. MGM Resorts thinks it's perfectly reasonable to charge you $16 a day just to leave your car in their regular self-parking garage. And I'm not talking about a prime spot or valet service. Nope, that's just the basic everyday rate for 24 hours. Even if you're only there for a short time, under 4 hours will still set you back $12. But here's the catch. That clock resets every single day. So a simple weekend trip could cost you $32 in parking before you even get your room key. Thinking about valet? You can expect to shell out $35 to $40 a day, and there's no promise you'll even get your car back any faster. That's especially true when there's a big convention or event in town, and these parking fees have been a sore spot since they first appeared back in 2016, sticking around even when visitor numbers dip and other hotels have considered getting rid of them. Honestly, the only way to really avoid this one is to just not bring a car at all, or to hunt down one of those few remaining hotels that still miraculously offer free parking. But for the vast majority of visitors, the moment your tires hit the strip, that meter starts running and there's no getting out of it. And that brings us to number 11. At the famous Bacchanal Buffet inside Caesar's Palace, they have a little trick where they quietly add an automatic 18% tip to every single check, regardless of your party size. And you can bet your server isn't going to mention it. But it's there all right, hidden on the receipt, usually tucked away right under the subtotal for the food. And here's the real kicker. The line for you to add a tip is still sitting there, completely blank. This, of course, leads to tons of guests adding another 15 or 20%, having no idea they've already paid a gratuity. If you look on Yelp, you can find photos from 2025 posted by baffled diners, showing receipts with both the automatic tip and the extra one they added. For a family of 4, we're talking about an accidental overtip of $50 or even more. And this is on top of a meal at what is already one of the most expensive buffets in the entire city. This kind of fee stacking is completely above board, legally speaking, but it's basically designed to trick you into double tipping unless you scrutinize every single line on that bill before you sign. Now let's move on to number 10. You're sitting down to eat at Planet Hollywood or a handful of other restaurants on the Strip, and a little 5% CNF fee mysteriously shows up on your bill. They call it a concession and franchise fee, but it's another one of those things your server will conveniently forget to mention. Instead, this thing just appears on your final bill, tucked away right under your food total, even before you've thought about a tip or tax. This means that $490 steak dinner you just enjoyed can instantly leap up by $24.50 from this one single line. And to make it worse, management emails literally tell staff to keep quiet about it unless you specifically ask. And by law, all they have to do is disclose the fee in print, which means it's usually buried deep in the menu's fine print. But here's the truly wild part. This fee is 100% legal, even though it adds absolutely zero value to your meal. So if you ever spot it, do not be afraid to question it. Many diners have actually gotten it removed just by speaking up. Now, sliding into our 9th spot, the XS nightclub at Encore will offer you a table for $5,000, but the final bill you receive is a masterclass in what I call Vegas math. That advertised minimum, it only covers your bottle. After that comes a mandatory 22% service charge plus an administrative fee, and then finally the tax. By the time it's all said and done, that $5,000 table has ballooned to $7,000 or even more. Receipts posted by guests from as recently as 2025 show extra line items for service, admin, and even a venue fee, all of them stacking up without any warning whatsoever. Some guests have reported paying a staggering 44% above the menu price before they've even had their first drink. The club's dazzling atmosphere is designed to distract you from the sticker shock. But make no mistake, every table is a finely tuned revenue machine, built to maximize your spending while making the upfront cost seem almost reasonable. So if you're thinking about bottle service, demand a full itemized quote before you commit. Otherwise, just prepare yourself for a bill that is anything but transparent. All right, on to number 8. Those so-called Best of Vegas awards aren't always what they appear to be. Many of the shiny plaques you see hanging on restaurant walls or at nightclub entrances are part of a pay-to-play system. So instead of being chosen by actual critics or by popular vote, these shiny accolades often just come with a sponsorship fee. We're talking anywhere from $500 to a whopping $7,000 just for a spot on that list. In 2025, a whistleblower memo from a major nightlife publication revealed that a shocking 4 out of every 5 winners were just paid sponsors, not genuine editorial picks. The Southern Nevada Hotel Concierge Association, for example, hands out awards that, what a surprise, almost always go to their own member hotels or their biggest financial backers. And the real shame is tourists trust these signs, thinking they found a mark of real quality, when the reality is far more about business transactions. So if you see a venue advertising its latest Best Buffet or Top Nightclub status, take a second to check who's behind the award. It might just be a marketing bill disguised as an honor. Now for number 7. The Venetian's timeshare free ticket trap is a masterclass in what you might call conditional generosity. You'll see these booths all over the casino floor, promising you free show tickets, or buffets, or even free hotel nights. No strings attached, or so it seems. But believe me, there is always a catch. To claim your prize, you're roped into a grueling 90-minute timeshare sales pitch. It's often described by former guests as relentless and absolutely exhausting. Just look on Reddit, it's flooded with first-hand accounts. You'll read stories of people lured in by the promise of free Cirque tickets, only to stumble out hours later feeling pressured and completely frustrated. The average timeshare buy-in at these presentations, it's around a mind-boggling $18,000. But the resale value is typically less than 20% of that. The pitch itself is legal, the intense pressure is very real, and the regret that follows is incredibly common. So if you're offered a freebie in Vegas, check all the fine print and ask directly what you're agreeing to, because in this city, nothing is ever truly free. Moving on to number 6. The Paris Las Vegas Hotel uses automated minibar sensors that can turn a simple, innocent mistake into a shocking charge. If you so much as move an item to make room for leftovers or unplug the tray to charge your phone, the system instantly registers it as a sale, and sometimes it's for every single item that was disturbed, not just the one you touched. Back in 2024, complaints erupted after one guest shared a $224 minibar bill that was triggered just by unplugging the sensor tray, and the hotel was adamant about the charge. While rumors of court battles are swirling online, what's crystal clear is that the hotel's terms and conditions spell out your liability for any tampering. And those sensors don't care one bit if you actually consumed the snacks or not. These charges pop up after you've checked out, often buried in your final folio, and are almost impossible to dispute unless you catch them right away. The best defense you have is this: don't touch, don't move, and absolutely do not unplug anything in that minibar area, because in Vegas, even your mini fridge is watching you. Now for the 5th spot on our list. Adele's residency in Las Vegas is a perfect, if painful, example of dynamic pricing, where the very same seat can triple in price in just a few short hours. When the tickets first drop, you might see a balcony spot going for $350, but just you wait, because the second demand spikes, that very same seat can leap to $150. And on resale sites, it's often even higher. All the while, hidden algorithms are tracking your every single click, your every search, and adjusting the price in real time based on how many of us are watching, refreshing, and trying to buy. Then they hit you with the mandatory service fees, which are often a staggering 25 to 30%. Suddenly, your $1,000 ticket has ballooned to $1,300 by the time you're done. The wildest part? It's all perfectly legal. And this isn't just happening on the resale market. Oh no, even the official box office is using these exact same demand-driven surges. The entire point isn't to reward the fans who get there early, but to capture every last possible dollar from people desperate to see the show. So if you're holding out hope for a good deal, you need to understand that timing and luck have become far more important than loyalty. For some people, it's the thrill of the chase. For everyone else, it's just sticker shock in real time. Coming in at our 4th spot, let's talk about how Las Vegas slot machines use cleverly designed near misses and sound effects to keep you playing far, far longer than you ever planned. You watch the reel spin, the lights flash, and every now and then the symbols line up just close enough to give you that feeling that a huge win is right around the corner. I'm here to tell you that feeling isn't luck. It's deliberate, calculated engineering. Get this, casino testing at Caesars between 2019 and 2022 discovered that by increasing how often these near misses happen and layering in celebratory sounds, players spent 14% more time at the machine, and the casinos earned 19% more money per device every single day. These tricks are completely legal, of course, marketed to you as entertainment upgrades, but they're really designed to make you forget about the actual odds. The chair feels a little more comfortable. The losses don't seem to sting as much, and the next spin always feels like it could be the one. So if you ever wonder why you just can't walk away, remember that every beep, every single almost win is a carefully calculated nudge designed to keep you spinning. The house edge never blinks. Now in 3rd place, we have slot machines in Las Vegas quietly siphoning away millions of dollars through abandoned TITO vouchers. You know, those little paper slips you get when you decide to cash out? Well, if your voucher is for less than $1, the self-service machines refuse to give you coins. Instead, you're handed a brand new slip of paper, one that you can only redeem by going to the casino cage. And let's be real, most players never bother. Maybe it's for 58 cents, maybe 94. But after a long night or a quick loss, waiting in that line just doesn't seem worth it. Now multiply that small amount by every tourist and local, every single day, for over 2 decades, And suddenly the numbers become absolutely mind-boggling. According to the Nevada Gaming Commission, more than $50 million has been lost this way since 2003. And here's the real kicker. The casinos get to keep 25% of that unclaimed money, while the state happily pockets the rest. So you see, even after you've stopped playing, the house still finds a way to win. One forgotten voucher at a time. In Las Vegas, small change is truly big business, and the system is engineered to make sure almost nobody collects every last cent they're owed. Moving on to second place, the average resort fee in Las Vegas is set to hit a jaw-dropping $44 per night in 2025, which is a new high and an 11% jump from last year. And that's not just a few luxury hotels either. At this point, nearly every property on the Strip tacks on a mandatory nightly charge, which sometimes climbs as high as $55 at the top resorts. These fees are slapped onto your bill whether you use the amenities or not. We're talking about Wi-Fi, gym access, pool towels, even that bottled water you never even touch. For a lot of guests, more than half of these so-called benefits go completely unused. But the fee? It's still there. Totally unavoidable and completely automatic. And the reason for this whole system is really quite simple. Hotels want to make their rooms look cheaper in online search results. That low base rate is the hook that draws you in, but the real cost doesn't rear its ugly head until you're already deep in the booking process. In 2025, new federal rules are forcing hotels to show the full price up front, but the fees themselves didn't go anywhere. They just moved out of the fine print and into the headline. And the tactic works like a charm. Hotel revenues just keep climbing while guests are the ones who feel the sting at checkout. So if you're trying to budget for a Vegas trip, you must always factor in the resort fee, because that advertised price is only the beginning. The only way you can really dodge it is to book at a rare hotel that doesn't have one or earn elite loyalty status. Otherwise, you can expect your nightly bill to legally balloon every single time. And finally, in our number one spot, the Clark County hotel tax, which turns every single fee into a massive snowball. Here's the breakdown of how it works. The advertised room rate isn't the only thing that's getting taxed. In Las Vegas, the 13.38% lodging tax is applied to both the base room price and the resort fee, basically stacking the charges right on top of each other. So let's take a room listed at $79. Now you add a $50 resort fee, which remember is mandatory whether you use the amenities or not. So, before you even get to the checkout page, your subtotal is already $129. But then Clark County hits you with its own tax, a staggering 13.38% on top of everything. That's another $17.79, suddenly pushing your nightly total to a jaw-dropping $146.79. And the wildest part? The advertised price has practically doubled, and it's all completely by the book. This isn't some shady hidden fee. They put it right there on your bill for you to see. But they only do it after every single other charge has been piled on. You see, the tax applies to the entire package, not just the room. So every single time those resort fees creep up, so does your tax bill. It's a system designed to make sure that even the most budget-conscious travelers get squeezed for more than they ever planned. In Las Vegas, the number you see first is never the real price. And it's the county's tax multiplier that guarantees the house always comes out on top no matter what deal you thought you were getting. From a $15 charge just to book over the phone, all the way to that unavoidable 13.38% tax that's strategically stacked on top of those resort fees, our countdown has really pulled back the curtain on how Las Vegas legally turns the fine print into massive profits. Looking back at all 15 entries, there's one common theme that ties them all together: mandatory and often cleverly hidden charges. We're talking about everything from a $40 a night resort fee to a 5% quote concession or franchise charge tacked onto your restaurant bill, or even those sensor-triggered minibar charges that get you the moment you touch something. But the most shocking ones are those that ambush almost every visitor. It's those resort fees that have leaped a staggering 11% in a single year, which are then magnified by taxes, all while those free perks and loyalty rewards turn out to be anything but what was advertised. Heck, even the leftover pennies on slot machine vouchers add up to a cool $50 million in lost change for visitors across the state. The thing that qualifies every item on our list is that it's perfectly legal. These aren't technically scams. But they are traps by design, using psychological tricks, unbundled pricing, and sheer complexity to pull more money out of every single guest. And that's the big secret here. In Vegas, the house doesn't just win at the poker tables, the real consistent jackpot is always buried in the fine print. In Sin City, every little convenience, every amenity, or every so-called deal is attached to a hidden cost. That isn't just the price you pay to get in, it's the entire business model. So let's say you want to spring for bottle service. You had better demand a fully itemized quote before you agree to anything. Otherwise, you can prepare yourself for a bill that is anything but clear and simple, wouldn't you say?